Okay, everybody, we are on the mic. We're recording. It's happening. We're in the studio today. And I have a special guest for you that when I started my podcasting almost 3 years ago, I said, there's one type of guest that I want to have at some point. And I'm just going to be driven to find that type of guest until I find that guest. And that's a medium. And today we have Nikki with us. And I'm very excited for you to meet her. She's sitting right next to me. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you. Hi.
And you went to the general store before this and you went a little crazy, didn't you?
Yes.
And you purchased a few too many things, right?
Yes.
I know that'll happen. We all have a shopping issue, I think, on this podcast. That's what we share.
Right.
I'm excited though, because I think this is a topic that in some weird way, and I mean, I can kind of understand why it's controversial in a little bit of a way, right? Like,
yes.
And I mean, you'd know better than I because you've grown up with this, and we're going to talk about how this came about and like where it came from. But some people just don't believe, or they've never encountered it. I asked my audience, and 70% of people believe in mediums out of my listeners, but 81% they've never encountered a medium.
Okay.
Which was really interesting. So I was like, okay. I mean, still though, 19% did. And then 40% had some sort of spirit interaction at some point in their life.
Okay.
And transparently, the reason I wanted to have you on is because I encountered spirits really young.
Okay.
And I'll talk about that after we hear your story. But
okay.
I wasn't like ghosts are real and this is what I'm encountering. It was like, I'm experiencing these really odd like feelings, smells, like energies around me, and I don't know what they are. Okay. And then the word spirit came and added on to it. And I was like, oh, it's like a spirit or a ghost at the time is what I thought, right? So from a young age, as long back as I can remember, I've felt that and experienced it in my house. And then my mom had stories once I was finally old enough that she shared with me.
Okay.
So I've just always had this draw to it.
All right.
And anyway, we'll get into like why and what that is, but I'm so curious to hear about you. So do you mind just telling us a little bit about like your background and who you are and how this all came about?
Yeah, it sounds like your story too. I grew up in a house where my mom was very psychic, and she started to have seances in the house with friends, and then it attracted a ton of ghosts. And her mom was psychic, my sister and brother are psychic, and then my gift came later in life. But I grew up with that. But different than you, it was scary in my house. We had a lot of ghosts, and they were invasive. They would scare you. You'd wake up and there'd be one standing in front of you. So we had to quit having seances. You know, it's like, Mom, hello. Yeah, and so that stopped. And then I went off and lived my life for 30 years. And then at about midlife, I would go to a funeral and the deceased would come up and talk to me.
Stop it right now.
Yes. And I would almost just about die. And I go, oh my God. And then it happened again at another funeral. Now, this is kind of funny, you guys. Never talk bad about someone at a funeral, because me and my brother were at my dad's funeral, and we weren't talking too bad, but we did say some little nasty thing. Yeah. And my dad's soul came up to me and said, shame on you. This is my party. And I just about died.
You were like, I'm going to pass out.
Yeah. And I'm like, why didn't you yell at Michael? Why yell at me? But anyway, it happened like that very slowly. And then I used to do healing touch on people with hands, healing hands, and their deceased would come and talk to me.
Oh my goodness.
So it happened real gradually, naturally, slowly. And then, I kept doing healing touch, and it kept happening. And then my mother would send me people, and I go, Mom, I can't do that. And sure enough, it worked. And so that's how it started for me.
Oh my goodness.
But, I fought it for 30 years. studied the Bible. I didn't think I should do it. So as far as religion goes, you're taught that it's not right. But I turned the leaf and realized it's a spiritual gift and it is from God. And so I dove into it after that.
That's kind of beautiful because I've never heard that tie before. A lot of people feel, or maybe perception wise, think that they can't do it or can't be around it or can't believe in it or can't experience it because of religion.
Right.
And you're religious.
Yes, I'm very spiritual and I love the Lord. And God is the one that's, it says in the Bible, the gifts of prophecy and healing and, it says it right in the Bible. So, that's a whole nother show, but
seriously.
Yeah.
You talk about seances. Can you explain those for somebody who doesn't know?
That is where you sit down with a group of people and you hold hands back in the day and you, and you call on a soul to come in, or you just sit there and see who comes in. But that's an open gate for a lot of souls to come in. Nowadays, I do small parties. And so it's like a room with 4, 5, 6 people, and I close my eyes. It's kind of the same thing as a seance, but it's different. It's different vibe. But so I'll call a name to someone to come in, and their soul will just come in because they know I'm with their loved one. They wouldn't come just to talk to me.
Wow.
Okay. Because people go, well, how do you know it's them, or how come they'll come? And I'll say, because they know you're with me, or they know you're on the phone with me. And so the soul comes through, and talks to you.
When people have talked about, I've heard this like Ouija boards. And I've heard those are very negative and can bring negative energies in. Yes. When you're calling, well, I guess my first question would be, are those negative and can they bring in a negative energy?
Yeah, I believe so. I think it's just a playground for, there's a lot of ghosts, you guys. There's a lot of haunted houses out there.
I've been in one.
Yeah. And people don't realize how many ghosts are earthbound, and they're just simply souls that do not move on. So I think when we're doing the Ouija board and stupid stuff like that, it just creates a lot of chaos in the house and around us.
Yeah,
so.
Very much so. Yeah. Inviting negative energy, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like, oh my God, I have so many questions. I'm like, I'm like, which way do I go with this? I'm so curious and wondering. When you're doing seances, how do you know that it's not going to be a negative energy that comes forward? Or do you have a way of like blocking that?
No, I have never had a negative energy. The only thing I've had is, let's say someone just committed suicide a couple weeks ago and they come through. They're pissed. They're sad. They're upset. That is a negative energy, but it's not a negative, scary. It's just that the soul is still, it even says in the Bible, when you die, you take your emotions with you. You're healed physically, but you still have your emotions. And so people who die suddenly, or alcoholics, drug addicts, they carry this pain just for a short time. It's not like they're in hell, but they're very sad. At least for a while. And so that's the only negativity I would get, is that they're pissed off they died. They're pissed off they killed themselves. They're very sad. They're very sorry. Like
my grandpa who came through to talk to my mom is
right.
what you're referring to.
Yeah. So they have that emotion with them. And so that's about the only negativity. I never get scary like the TV shows, all this demon stuff.
I know. Do you believe in all those shows, or like what do you have to say about those? I'm just curious.
No, I don't pay much attention to that.
The Ghost Hunter show, like where like they hold up a little thing and it goes ling.
Yeah, no, I
zings when they see them or something.
I believe in that, but all that devil stuff, I don't pay much attention to.
Like all the movies that they make off of it and all that crap.
Yeah, I just don't.
I can't watch those. They freak me out too much.
No.
That energy, like even when I watch a scary movie like that, I feel a heaviness.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'm like, nope, I don't like this.
Right.
It's icky.
Exactly.
I'd be curious because so I grew up in a haunted house.
Okay.
And so I knew it was haunted once I found out that was a word. Like there were things happening. Okay. And then I found out, okay, oh, this must be a spirit. Oh, this means you have a haunted house. I didn't know that. I just was experiencing things.
Right.
My mom knows and has attested to this on episodes too before, but things would get moved, right?
Mm-hmm.
They'd move my stuffed animals. They'd put stuff on things I can't, like on a shelf I can't reach.
Right.
How the heck would I put that up there?
Right.
Explain that. Riddle me that.
Yes, that's true. The ghosts do move things. Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
Where's my bunny? Like I had a little stuffed bunny. I'm like, where's Bunny? Nope, she's up on a shelf I can't reach. How is that possible?
Right.
At night, they would pull the covers off me. They would turn my jacuzzi. I had a jacuzzi tub because we redid like a house. And so weirdly, I had a jacuzzi tub in my bathroom.
Yeah.
And they would turn it on at 3 on the dot with no water in it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like 100 blow dryers going off into a tub in a small room.
Yes.
It sounds like the earth is crumbling and going to shatter on your house.
Exactly.
And they would do that.
Yes, they do it.
Why?
They do it to get our attention. They think they're funny at nighttime, especially because we can hear them better. And frankly, they're bored actually. And they're homebound, they're earthbound, and they just like to mess with us.
I don't like it.
I know. That's why you got to tell them to leave.
I did.
Okay. And you have to be strong and very assertive with them.
It used to really bug me. And so then once we moved out of this certain home, my mom shared with me that she would wake up in the middle of the night and there'd be children crying, and it would be coming from the basement, where our rooms were not.
Yeah.
And just different things like that. I mean, there was also like, we had someone come out and look at the bathtub, and they unplugged it or unwired it. And they were like, yeah, I don't know why this is happening, but it shouldn't happen anymore. And it happened one more time.
Yeah. Okay.
Like not even explainable. And we moved, and I'm sitting in my new room, and I'm like, I can still feel an energy with me. And I knew that they weren't all there, but I knew some or one was there.
Okay.
I could feel it. I was like, oh my God. And I laid and I clenched my little hands. I closed my eyes and I said, I don't want you to ever do anything to me or contact me right now. I don't want it anymore. I want you to get away from me. Like I'm scared and I don't like this. And they never bugged me again.
Yes. Okay, good. Yeah. I had one lady. I told one lady, she said, well, I feel bad telling them to go. I'm like, you got to yell at them to get out.
And who, can I ask, do you have any idea who they are?
They're
or
just
why they're there?
They're earthbound spirits. That's all that it is a ghost. Some of them are from past lives that have never left. People that have died in the home or in the area. There's a ton of reasons. You can't pick one specifically, but there's a lot of different reasons they stay here.
Can they attach to items? I've always heard that, like if you, let's say someone died in the home and there was a dresser there or something like that, couldn't they attach to an item?
Well, I don't know about attach.
Or come with you to from one place to another?
Yes, they can.
Oh, they can.
Yes.
Oh, good. They're going to come along on the journey.
Like if you buy things, they said, I heard one time, like in antique stores, you'll bring home some energy from the past.
Well, can I tell you about something like that?
Sure,
that happened?
Let's do it. Yeah.
I was in an antique store in Uptown. I don't know if you guys know the name. I'm like looking at Megan to see if she knows the name, but there were a lot of cool mirrors in there, and I was sending my pictures to my mom, and I walked in the back of the store. I felt like I was going to suffocate.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't breathe back here.
Right.
I'm having hot flashes. All of a sudden, I'm like, I'm suffocating, and like, I don't really know what. Maybe it was a claustrophobia. You could argue it was that. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to buy the mirror here. I'm going to go to IKEA.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was really smart.
Yeah.
I know. I've walked into places where I couldn't breathe either. So it's very real. It's very real. You must be very intuitive.
Oh, God. I'm scared. I am, but sometimes to a fault, you know?
Oh, okay.
It feels like I don't know what that means. Like I told my friend, I asked if she was pregnant. She didn't even know yet.
Okay.
I've called it every time my friends were pregnant.
All right. Well, what that means is just your guides and spirit talking to you.
Really?
And if it's a peaceful answer and if it's helpful, then there's nothing wrong with it. Okay. So if you're afraid, don't be afraid of it because it's not hurting anything.
Yeah, true.
You know, and it sounds like your intuition is balanced enough that you can use it or not. And, you know, you grew up with it. So don't be afraid of it. Try to use it to help people.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I want to bring it back to, you talk about earthbound. Can we just talk about how that happens? Because I think a lot of people are like, earthbound, what does that mean? I thought maybe there's people that do believe in heaven that are listening, or maybe there are people that do not. Like, what is this earthbound energy and after someone passes? Like, how did this happen?
Well, earthbound is where they don't move on to the other side. they stay in the earth's plane. Apparently there's a plane, different planes, higher, higher, higher. And earthbound is they just stay on the earth's plane. And because they're afraid to move on for many reasons. A lot of it is religious. Mm. They're afraid of God or afraid of what's going to happen, or they have a lot of shame. So they stay, or they don't want to leave their family. So that's what earthbound is. They just stay in this lower vibration of the earth. And people who like are really, really spiritual, like who knows, these priests or pastors, they go to higher planes, closer. So your consciousness, you will die and you will go to your own consciousness. So there is a heaven. I don't believe there's a hell. I think a hell is to go to a place of your own thinking, like killers and murderers. And so you're going to go to a place of your own thinking, with people of your own kind. But since God is love, you will heal slow but sure. And eventually probably have to come back to redo it. So there's many planes over there.
Wow.
Yeah. So earth plane is just a soul that doesn't move on.
So when let's say you pass away, let's say it was really easy and natural.
Yes.
And your body is there and your body gets moved away. Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
Your soul.
Do you see it?
Yes.
Do you see that?
Yes. You're the same person. Your soul just comes out of your body. Because a body is cold, dead. So what keeps you alive is your soul.
Your energy.
Your energy. And so when you die, I've done a reading a couple weeks ago where a mother died just a month ago. And she was in between here and there. And it's like a birth. Death is the same thing. It's a process. You get ready to go.
Wow.
And so the mother couldn't really talk to me, but I could feel she was in the midst of going. And you are greeted by family and angels. I did a healing one time to a lady who was dying and closed my eyes, and there were two big, beautiful angels above her. So you are met with family and angels and your guides, which we all have. And where was I going with all this?
I don't know. I was just asking what happens, when you explained it well. I think just like earthbound and the energies and how what happens after you pass.
Yeah, it's a process. Death is a process. When my mother was dying, she said to us kids, I'm dying. There's a man that comes to me at night and is helping me on the other side. So it's a process. Death is a process.
So she was met by someone before she even passed.
Yeah, that was helping her.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a process.
So interesting. I mean, oh my God, you guys, I'm like, I have so many, my head is turning like this, and I literally, my wheel is going like, ask this.
Well, I got to quick say, Easter, what's that? Where Jesus dies, comes back. Hello. I mean, that to me is so obvious that he's saying, hey, you guys, you live on, but yet nobody believes.
Why do you think no one believes? Do you think it's out of fear?
I think they just think maybe Jesus is the only one that died and came back, and how could we do that? But yeah, I think it's out of fear, and it's too new age. It's just too weird. But really, it's just a soul. That's all it is.
Yeah. And I asked you this before, but there's people like that listen that are like, I don't believe in that. That's not real. You could look anything up on the internet or whatever. Yeah. What would you don't have to justify yourself because it's just your life. But what would you say to those people?
I don't know what I would honestly say to them. It's really hard to change their minds. A soul is just inside your body that goes on. I don't honestly know.
Yeah. You're like, sorry, too bad. I guess you'll find out when you pass.
Yeah.
When people pass that don't believe in anything or don't believe in that anything happens, you're just gone, poof, into the air you go.
Yeah.
What are they feeling on the other side?
They're amazed.
Amazed.
They're amazed how beautiful it is, and they see their family, and they're absolutely blown away.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, even if you don't believe, you still go to the light, and you still are with your family and
all of the things.
Yes.
I want to do the call, Syd, because I had somebody write in that was asking about just like intuitiveness and all of these things. And that's a part of what I wanted to talk to you about. So I'm going to read what they said.
Okay.
It's a listener write in, and it says, "Hi, Syd, I have a question about mediums and communicating with past loved ones. What are some signs that someone is trying to talk to you? Do they have to be physical, external, and like defined by the concept of clairvoyance, or can they be more like internal or psychological? I'm asking because my grandpa passed away 3 years ago, and I feel like he could be trying to talk to me or show me that he's okay, but I think I'm experiencing this more internally than externally. I have instances where I'm at work or driving, and then all of a sudden my concentration switches to my grandpa. It's really random and doesn't happen too often, but when it does, I end up thinking about him for the rest of the day, and all I want to do is sit down and talk to him, but I can't. It's a really weird feeling because it doesn't happen a lot, and it's been 3 years since he passed. Is this normal, and is this him trying to communicate with me? If so, how could I tell them that I hear him?
Okay. Absolutely, yes, he's trying to talk to you. Absolutely, because we can't make this up. When you have a feeling that somebody on the other side says hello or is there, or you smell them or you feel them, it's real. But what we do is we get into our intellect and we say, oh, no, that can't be. So what you have to do is just feel it, know he's there, he's talking to you, and talk back to him.
Yeah.
That's all it is. He's right there trying to get your attention. And if you're driving along and you feel him, that's real. Okay. You can't make up a feeling. You can make up a thought in your head, but when you feel it and sense it, it's real. And you try not to ignore that, because that's how they try to get our attention. Many ways: music, a whisper, a wind, a voice, a smell, at night in our dreams. And so when you guys start feeling this stuff, don't ignore it. It's them trying to talk to you.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And just talk back. They're right there. It's like they're on the other side of the curtain.
Seriously.
Yeah. They're not far.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
With people who are out there, and maybe this is me, and maybe it's other levels of like intuition. Mm-hmm. How can someone channel that intuition and get more connected to their loved ones or guides that have passed? Like, how can we, even though, because I'm not a medium,
right?
But how could I?
It's practice, a lot of practice. It doesn't, it did happen naturally. It sounds like it's happened natural for you. So you have to trust. That's the biggest thing you have to do, is trust what you're feeling. And then when you start trusting it, and practice, trusting it, knowing it, it's real, write it down so you can read it later. But it takes practice, and then you'll get stronger that way. When you pay attention to signs and synchronicities, then they get stronger. Mm-hmm. All right. For the people who push it under the rug and say, oh, no, that can't be, then it kind of diminishes a little. So you want to be open, practice, listen, believe, and trust. And it gets stronger and stronger.
I've never channeled it because I've been afraid of it.
Okay.
And I think it was always fear-based. But I will say, more recently, I was going to tell you this. I was like, I cannot forget to tell you this.
Okay.
2 things. My grandma passed away. We were very close. Okay. Very close. Her name's Beverly. Mm-hmm. We and it was sudden that she got sick and she passed. After she passed, I was, trying to get my mind off things. We were at this. It's funny you pointed it out when Megan walked in and someone asked, oh my God, where's that guitar from? Or what is that? I was playing a game of bingo, coincidentally enough. And I remember I was like, Grandma, I feel I know you're here. I'm like, I can feel that you're around. Mm-hmm. If you're here, make me win bingo. Cause I had no things on my card, nothing. I was losing. I was like, yeah, right. Mm-hmm. I won. I won.
Isn't that fun?
I won. And,
I love
and
that.
then more recently was my birthday, and I was like, I can talk to all my loved ones. I talked to my grandma Sella, who passed away, kind of sometimes, just I think she's up there guiding me. Mm-hmm. And my grandma, like one of my more recent birthdays that she's been gone, because I think she's been gone about 2 years now. And I just said, Grandma, it's my birthday, so can you say happy birthday? Can you just tell me a sign that you're here somewhere, somehow?
Yeah.
And I went to go get a massage, and the masseuse was like, I had talked to her, like she's known me for a few years, and like I was really stressed, so I was getting massages with her. She randomly out of nowhere goes, I think about your grandma often and all the things she's told me about her and like all this stuff out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, and like all these things. And, you know, if she's probably wishing you a happy birthday. And I was like, okay.
Oh my
Then
God. Yeah.
I don't know where I was at. I think it was a restaurant at that point. And the song they played, she used to play it all the time, but they played it at her funeral as her like song. It's Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Immediately starts playing like crystal clear. Like I was like, this is not the usual vibe of this place. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was like, Fly Me to the Moon is playing. And I'm like, oh, there she is.
Yes.
And then my hairstylist, I'm sitting down. I did a pamper day on my birthday. Hello.
Yeah.
Come on. You got to live a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting down. He goes, I didn't want to text you this because I knew I was going to see you. But look at this memory that just popped up on my phone yesterday. And it's a picture of my grandma and him standing outside of the salon.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just think that's crazy. Isn't that just crazy? And he shows me the picture and I'm like,
oh my God.
And she was loud.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, she's going to be loud. She's going to say something. And here she is. So I just was like,
that's fantastic. Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
That's great. And see, those are the signs I was telling you about. When you start watching those and really trusting and believing them, then they do get stronger. Yes, that's fantastic.
Sometimes you second guess yourself though, you know, like how do you not second guess yourself? You're like, oh, that's a coincidence or
well,
no, I don't know.
You tune that in after a while. You start really tuning that in and you know the difference. You know, we're human. We're always going to doubt a little once in a while, but it sounds like you really do know, but you just keep that wall to keep safe just a little bit.
Probably.
Yeah. And that's okay. You know, it's
spooky
right.
kind of.
Well, it's only spooky because, like you said, I think you grew up in a haunted house.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of still with you. But if you have a spiritual gift and you're getting answers and helping people with it, then it's coming from a different place instead of fear.
True.
Yeah.
You're probably right about that.
If you can get the spookiness out of it.
I'm trying to.
Okay.
I went to this is another story. I feel like everybody likes these stories though, because they're really interesting experiences. And I'm going to ask you about yours too. Yeah. But I went to a haunted house because my friend wanted to go to a haunted house in San Diego. Okay. One of the oldest houses in the city of old San Diego. And I wasn't thinking much of it, but I walked in and I was like, oh God.
Ew.
Oh God, I don't like it. There was weird little shoes.
Oh.
There was weird the little beds. Everyone was really small, you know, and I'm like, oh, the doors are small. It's like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this. The tour is kind of coming to an end. We're in the living room. We walk past this arch. I feel like, I'm like, oh my God, my necklace is choking me. And I was like, oh, that's not my necklace. I just feel like I'm choking. I just feel like I'm choking. My friend next to me, also very intuitive, goes, I might need to go outside. I'm like, I don't feel very good.
Yes.
Like all of a sudden I'm getting hot and my neck feels like, I feel weird. And he turns around and the guy's like, this is where the man who used to own this house before he built it hung the city people right under this arch. And he wanted the arch to be in a perfect spot so that when he walked through his living room, he remembered the people that he hung. Great guy. Love the guy.
Yeah.
And some people who are intuitive will feel like there's an energy, there's hands on your neck, or you're just straight up choking. Right. And I was like, okay, I would like to leave now. I would like to leave this house.
Yeah.
And so then, you know, you're reminded again of like, maybe these are the things I'm going to ask you about, like little callings to you about things that have happened.
Yeah, no, stuff like that does happen. It did happen growing up. Stuff like that doesn't really happen to me anymore like that, where it's scary.
Yeah.
I just don't go there. I don't go to places anymore. I know myself. I can't go into, claustrophobic old buildings and stuff like that. So I don't know. Yeah, it's very real. If you feel the heaviness, it is a spirit. If you feel cold, it's a spirit. I said that because it's cold in the house. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. Well, this used to be an old motel and bait shop.
No, I'm just kidding.
So you never know. I've thought there maybe was a man living here. I don't know.
It probably is.
Well, hi, man.
So I don't know what your exact question was, but yeah, there's energy in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was your first memory of encountering something, or like maybe, oh my gosh, like I might have something, a gift, and you knew it of your family too, but
well, like I said, the time I went to the funeral,
that was the first time.
The first time, yeah. And he came up to me, other than seeing ghosts when I was young in the house. But then at the funerals, they start talking to me.
What would you see? Because a lot of people, they've never experienced that, so they don't know what seeing them even means.
Well, you hear their voice. You hear their thought through their voice. You don't hear a voice, you hear a thought. And he came up to me and he said, "Hi, Nikki. It's so nice to see you." It was clear as day because he just died. And so it's a thought. And so you hear them. They talk to you. Yeah. And then when my dad came up and yelled at me, I heard that. And
loud and clear.
Loud and clear. And then doing healings on people, they just come up. And okay, so if you're sitting there and you're quiet and you hear a thought, like it's not yours, it's out of the blue, something you wouldn't even think of, it's them talking to you. So if people get a hunch or a feeling or just an all-knowing, it's pretty much spirit. It's spirit talking to you. But it takes practice, you guys. This is not an overnight thing.
I know. It's not something you can just channel instantaneously.
Yeah. And if you can, that's great. But you have to learn, and it sounds like you still are and have learned how to balance it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what else to do, though, because some people don't even believe me. Transparently, my fiance doesn't even believe me.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm like, I'm not making this up. Like, what's the gain of me making this up?
Right. Exactly.
And he's like, well, maybe it's just, your
imagination. Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Or what a coincidence that Frank Sinatra is playing at a zesty restaurant. Like, please with that. Why would that happen?
Right.
When I've experienced ghosts, I think I've seen one, but do you normally see them? I know you're saying you hear them, but like, did you previously see them? Because some people talk about seeing them.
You can see them. Sometimes it's just a white shadow. Sometimes you can see their face. Sometimes it's just a dusting. Another way spirits talk to us is through quick lights sparkling, little sparkles in front of your eyes that fly by. That's a sign of spirit. Have you ever had that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just in my eye.
Yeah. They're sparks of light. That's a sign of a spirit. They do come in many forms.
They do. Well,
yeah.
I used to tell my mom I smell bonfire, but it was really cigarette, but I didn't know what cigarettes were.
Okay.
But I was like, I smell smoke, but I don't smell it. It's just like, it's in my sinuses is how the only way I could describe it.
Right. It must have been a deceased. Yeah.
I think the old owner of the house smoked or something like that.
Definitely.
Maybe. So they were there, but I was worried it was demonic.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because I mean, God, you're worried, you can't help it, but you're like, no one else is experiencing this. I'm literally in elementary school in the second grade and nobody else talks about these things happening to them. You know what I mean?
I know. Growing up, my mom was called a witch, back in those days. So it is scary back in those days because of all the TV and the drama. But nowadays it's more accepted. It's more loving. It's coming from a loving place.
Right.
So if you can switch the fear and the drama and just accept the loving part of it, you should be okay with it.
When you switched your career over, and your sister also did too, your sister's Echo.
Yes.
And like, what was your first experiences with that? Like, how did you know, like, okay, I know this enough where I feel confident that people can pay me or, come see me and I will allow it. I will let the energy come through.
Yeah. I was ready to quit my job. First of all, I've been there 30 years. I was a flight attendant.
Oh my gosh, for that long?
Yeah. So when I quit and I started doing my work as a psychic and medium, it took a long time. It was slow going, but it was just a dream and a desire to pursue. And it happened slowly.
And your mom had led you well, I'm assuming, too.
Yes. And my sister and brother. I mean, it's a family of psychics, so.
Does your brother?
Michael.
Does it too? Currently?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, he does it. Yes.
When you go to family dinner, is it like everyone chit-chatting above you and you're like, everyone shut up. We're trying to talk down here.
No, we don't even go there.
Oh, good. You don't have, can you decide when and where it comes to you now?
Yes.
That's kind of lucky.
Yeah, I'm very good, have boundaries with that. I'm very shut off when I leave my office.
You're like, it's not happening here.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about psychics and mediums? They're not the same thing, right?
Right. A psychic is somebody who can maybe predict future, maybe predict the present, but they can't hear from the deceased. And a medium can only hear from the deceased, but they're not very psychic. They're not very intuitive.
Are you psychic as well?
Yes.
Yes,
I do both.
How do people come to you to ask those questions? Like, what type of thing would you ask? Can I ask you something? or not really?
Like what?
I don't know. Like, I'm like, I don't even know what I'd ask because I'm so comfortable with like who I am that I'm like, I don't know that I have like a question about my future, but maybe,
they come for love, jobs, work, just general. They feel stuck.
Yeah.
A lot of different reasons.
I want to know if I'm going the right direction with my podcast and like the business as a whole, because I feel good about advice and things like that, but sometimes I get in my own way.
Yeah, you're definitely good at what you do. Definitely going in the right direction.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
something. I mean, I'm not really psychic right now, but I can just tell by talking to you that you've got what it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep chugging.
Yeah. And you're very intuitive.
Yeah.
Keep listening to that. That'll guide you. Yeah.
I need to.
That'll guide you.
The reason I ask about mediums and psychics, because a lot of people are writing in, they're like, how do I even go about finding someone that's legit? Because I hear about people who are fakes.
Right.
And they find stuff on Facebook or wherever is what everyone always says. Like that's where they're looking it up on the internet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a tough question to answer because there are so many fakes out there. You have to really listen to your intuition. If it feels right, you don't want somebody that charges too much.
Yeah.
If it feels right, you got to really trust your own intuition with that when you're going to go see somebody.
It also shouldn't be a BOGO. Like you shouldn't get a crystal if you come see them or
oh God, no.
You know what I mean? Like you buy one, get one free.
No,
like
absolutely not.
Open door when you're walking down like a really busy street in Santa Monica or Venice. And it's like, come on in. And you're like, you're giving me weird energy.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like that.
You have to listen to the energy behind it and how it feels.
So with people who have passed, right? We're still on earth. We are healing, right? Like we're trying to heal at least.
Yes.
Can it be healing to speak to someone that has passed?
Oh God, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I just did a reading for a couple. Their daughter died like 18 years ago and the husband has had guilt this whole time. And she came through and it went really well. And he finally was ready to let go of his guilt. Yeah, and that happens a lot. So this work can really help people heal. They can, especially suicide victims, because the client always feels they could have stopped it. And so after talking to them, they realized, okay, it's all meant to be or whatever. And it's very healing piece.
For someone who's not as intuitive, how can they practice that once a loved one or an animal or whatever it is has passed? Like, can they... or maybe their grandpa passed a long time ago, whatever it is, how can somebody kind of say, I know I'm not that intuitive, but I want to communicate with the person that has passed. How do I do that?
Okay. Well, talk to them or call a medium or sit quietly and talk to them. And you might get a sign if you're open enough. You might get a sign shortly after or then. Yeah. So just, you guys, you got to be quiet. People aren't quiet anymore. You have to be quiet and you have to be still. And that's how spirit talks to us, through a feeling. And so many people are blocked now with headphones and noise and phones. I'd be surprised if this young generation even hears from frickin' spirit because they're all plugged into something. So if you want to hear from them, you have to be quiet.
You got to listen.
You have to listen.
Man.
It's a feeling too, all right? It's not just what you hear. It's a feeling. Mostly it's a feeling.
Can you communicate with animals that have passed? A lot of people wrote that in to ask.
Yes, of course you can.
Same idea,
exactly.
Same concept.
Yes, of course. Our animals are always there. My sister has a picture. These cops sent her when they were on an investigation of a car accident. And they sent her the photo. This was 50 years ago because they were so freaked out. But the boy in the car died. And it's a picture of his soul leaving the car and his dog next to him that had died too.
And it's in the photo.
It's in the photo.
And you saw it.
It's freaky. But yeah, animals are always with us. Always.
That's so beautiful too. Because you never know. I mean, people that wrote in, they were like, I've lost my animal.
Well, they have a soul. So of course they're going to go to the other side. My sister, one time, my dog had died. And this wasn't before I got this gift. And I thought she was crazy. And I was going to her house one time and she said, oh, your dog is right behind you. And I'm like, oh, whatever. Yeah, but
yes, right.
Yeah, they're with us.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Do you think that sometimes when people leave this earth, they're leaving to teach us a lesson? I got a lot of questions about that. They were like, are they leaving because they're teaching us a lesson? Am I learning something from this? I mean, you learn from every change, but.
Yeah, you guys, this is deep and we can't answer everything. But yes, even suicide, when a person dies, they always say it was their time, even if it was too soon. And yes, there's a lesson in all of it. And we're learning, like if a parent loses a child, it's something we had to learn. Now, that's a hard concept, but that's what they say, that we needed to learn that lesson. And more than one spiritual teacher teaches that. So, yeah, I think there's a plan in all of it.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, even though it's sad.
It is really sad. Mm-hmm. Is there any moments in your career that you remember that you're like, oh my God, that was like unbelievable?
Yeah.
Like, okay. I can't believe I spoke to that person, or I can't believe they said this, or what a healing thing for this person that I was talking to.
Yeah. I had a young girl call me. Her boyfriend just died of a drug overdose. And she called me. It was only been a week. And he came through and he was just a jerk. And really? He was in a gang and he had chains on his neck. I could hear his chains and he was swearing. And he had kept saying, he said, homecoming. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm going, oh, there's no way he took her to the homecoming. And my God, he's a drug addict. They don't go to homecomings.
Yeah.
So he kept talking to me and telling me all this stuff. And then he said, homecoming again. I went, all right. So I told her, I said, now this is over the phone. And I said, okay, he's saying homecoming. And she dropped the phone and she said her shirt had homecoming on it.
So he's like bugging her, like, yeah, homecoming. Yeah, whatever.
I'm here. I read, it was on her shirt. Yeah. So that was pretty bizarre. And, just stuff like that. Megan, her reading was really cool too. Her spirit guide said that they were going rollerblading and she had just bought a pair of rollerblades.
That's just amazing.
And I thought that was really cool because it just proves that we have spirit guides.
I know.
And they're with us and they love us and they're with us every day. And I just thought that was really cool.
Who are they usually?
We're born with them. They're male and female. They're both our sides. They're part our personality. But we were born with them. They plan to be with us our whole life. God knows where they come from, but it's part of us. It's part of our spirit, our soul. And they were assigned to us. So.
Can you speak to spirit guides?
Yes. Of course I do all the time.
Really?
Yes.
Do you speak to your own?
Yeah, but not on a real personal level. Like what happened with Megan, I'm just like, thank you guys for your help, Yeah. But I don't really go deep into, hey, who are you? I don't know why. I just don't.
Yeah, you just don't.
Yeah. I want you to stop using fear. You say that a lot.
Yeah.
And you say, that's my fear. Mm-hmm. But it shouldn't be a fear. You should say, that's my guide to help me. Okay. Yeah. Because they just helped you there, really. Yeah. So, but you say fear a lot. Mm-hmm. Try to stop using that word.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
You sound like my grandma. It sounds like my grandma. She always had something to say too.
Okay.
She always, oh my God. I'm surprised she hasn't like buzzed in your head and been like,
well,
let me in here.
Well, she might be, but I'm trying to concentrate here.
I know. I was almost like, I want her to buzz in and be like, hey,
yeah, I'm sure
I got something to say.
But I'm trying to say enough of myself here.
I know, true.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
When you have had people pass in your life, have you spoken to them as they passed?
Yes. My mother died and it took over a year to hear from her.
Why?
And so, well, I want to say that because a lot of people take it personal. They think something's wrong. What's wrong with me? Why don't talk to me? But you guys, they have things to do over there. And some of them just, once they're out of the earth, they're gone for a while. They need a break. They do this, they do that. I don't know everything they do. But if you don't hear from your deceased or feel them, don't take it personal. Who knows the things they do over there. But yeah, I'll tell you a quick story. Me and my sister, we was hanging out one day, and I do tarot cards, right? Mm-hmm. And my mom had died, and my sister goes, let's read Mom's cards just for fun. I'm like, how is this going to work? So anyway, we shuffle them in her name. We lay them out, and there's one card in there that says, how do people see you? Okay, so we're flipping all the rest of them, and we get to that card. We flip it over, and it was the death card.
Is that you don't want that, obviously?
No.
You don't want to get that card, do you?
No. The point was, how do people see you? Dead.
Oh, she was saying, oh my word. She's
dead.
like, yeah, I'm dead.
I'm dead. Right. And we both just about fell out of our chairs.
Oh, she was probably being funny.
She was.
Was she a sassy?
Yeah. And the cards, aren't they amazing? I mean, they are so right on for everybody. They just fit like a T. So yeah, Mom talks to us. But I don't feel a lot of my deceased. No.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Do you think it's because so many people are calling upon you? And so there's so many people kind of waiting. Are they waiting around to speak to you, or not? Is that not a thing either?
No. Because I don't care to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a favorite relative other than Mom. So I don't really have anybody I need to talk to.
Had there ever been instances where maybe you were just feeling receptive and you weren't in a meeting, you weren't, meeting with someone one-on-one, mm-hmm. and someone has come to you and you were just out and about doing something or at your house?
Mm-mm. The only time that's happened is before a client calls. I might start feeling they're deceased.
Oh, really?
Because they're so excited to talk to them. That's about the only time.
What do you feel?
Oh, I feel their happiness, their excitedness, their funniness, their energy, their personality. One time I smelled a lady's perfume, and her sister was calling, and they had a favorite perfume. So maybe 5-10 minutes that might happen where I start to feel their soul.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Even before anything happens.
Yeah. Because they know I'm going to talk to their relative.
True.
Yeah.
Tarot cards, I feel like they get a bad rep because a lot of people read them on TikTok and
do they really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they get a really bad rap. And
I know.
I was actually scared of them one time too because of religion. But really, all they are is a guide to your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all they are. People got to keep things simple.
Mm-hmm.
They complicate things. God is a simple God. Spirit is simple. We try to complicate it with our fears, doubts, and worries, and religion, and all the crap in our head. But really, it's a subtle, gentle voice from God when it's a true spirit and a loving spirit. But so you can't complicate all this stuff. So tarot is just a general map of our lives. But yeah, we've complicated it.
We have.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people relate tarot cards to believing in astrology.
Okay.
Because they're like, well, you can say that, but it applies to everyone. There's a blanket statement, right? But I mean, to be honest, Aries is what I am. Mm-hmm. And when you read an Aries, it sounds exactly like me. When you read a Leo, it doesn't sound like me at all, mm-hmm. or any of the other ones, right?
Right.
So in a weird way, I'm like, well, I mean, I kind of choose to believe. It's not really like, mm-hmm. I could not if I wanted to,
Yeah, right.
So you just kind of choose to believe.
You do choose to believe. Exactly.
And I realized that when I was little, because everyone's like, oh, that's not true. That's not real. That didn't happen. Blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, yeah, right. You're phony. That doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, I don't really care if you believe me or not.
Right.
That's probably how you feel. Mm-hmm. I just believe.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when you've seen angels and you've seen proof, then why worry about what everybody else thinks when you've actually seen angels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
My mom used to tell me when I was scared of all these energies, and it was fear-based, of course, like we said.
Right.
But just imagine yourself with a white light around you.
Exactly.
And do you think that's a good practice to have?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
What is that doing?
Oh, that's bringing God's presence around, angels around.
Wow.
Exactly.
Like I envision myself over myself and I have a white aura around me.
That's
That's how I do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see above me or something. I don't really know how to explain it.
Right. Exactly. A white light is always good.
Healing, isn't it?
I was giving a lady a healing one time, and she had lung disease or something, and she wanted to go to Costa Rica. And I was giving her this healing. I saw a beautiful white light around her, and I said, geez, I see you really happy and a big white light around you. Well, this is in the beginning, And sure enough, she died a week later.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And so the white light was heaven.
That you could see around her.
Yeah. And I didn't know she was going to die. I thought she was going to be in Costa Rica, happy as can be.
Oh, my word.
And it was a vision of her in heaven, this white light. And I thought, oh, my God.
Oops. You're like, oh, I didn't call that one.
Well, yeah.
Like, oh, geez.
Well, I would never tell anyone.
I know.
But that was a cool experience because it was a beautiful white light.
Yes.
So, yeah, the white light thing is really good.
That's special. It's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask just like a few more things. And I mean, obviously people sitting here who maybe again like aren't intuitive, and we talked about like maybe ways to like try to speak to them, but like what are some signs that are common? You know, like for me, I can ask for it sometimes and it'll come.
Yeah.
But I really have to listen. But what are some signs that like, wait, was that my grandma, or was that my dad, or was that my whoever?
Okay. I would say again, feeling, because when you sense something, what most people do is get in their head and try to figure it out. But try to feel it out. And like, you know, everybody says a red cardinal is a spirit. Well, okay, that's true. But was it really? Did it feel like a spirit, or was it just a red cardinal? Okay, there's a difference there. You have to feel it. And that's so important. You have to feel it because, you know, when people get numbers and this and that, I'm like, okay, you saw the number, but did you feel it behind it?
Right.
And that is a sign. When
the feeling.
Feeling, yeah.
You know, actually, I just remembered something, a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was really sad, but I'm going to say it because it was interesting. I remember I was living at the U of M, Minnesota, and I was at school, and I knew one of my friend's fathers was sick. I hadn't talked to her for probably about 4 months, but I knew he was sick. I woke up that morning feeling like I was having a panic attack. I felt sick, and I just had a weird feeling to text her and say, like, how is your dad doing? He died that morning.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm like remembering all the weird things that have happened that have made me feel there is intuition.
Yeah.
And I remember, and she was like, he just passed.
Wow.
And I like, I don't know. I wouldn't say I felt it in a weird way, which I was like, oh my God, I don't like that.
Don't say fear.
I didn't. I said it at the time.
Okay.
It was fearful.
Good for you.
Now I can.
Yeah. No, you are very, very intuitive. And I would keep using this gift.
I'm going to use it.
Yeah. Don't be afraid of it because you're very intuitive. Is your mom intuitive?
Very.
Okay.
Sitting right there behind the camera over there.
Right.
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
And she always has been.
So then again, it's in the family.
Yes.
Like my family.
Yes. Yeah. But I think your mom maybe, I'm talking to my mom right now behind the camera, maybe denied it that she was intuitive. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, back in those days, they had to, or they would have been thrown in a nut.
Well, they were. She
nut
was.
House. Yeah.
She was.
Okay.
So that was a part of it.
Okay. Yeah. Back then.
You know, and then I think she was trying to protect her daughters who all are intuitive. And now, can I tell the story about who you saw? You and your sisters? Can I say that? Once you guys were older, like I think this was like less than 10 years ago, right? You guys were sitting talking about things that you had seen in your childhood, right? Because they reflect a lot. My other aunt can remember like every day and what she wore and like what people said, you know, when people have those weird memories, like, oh yeah, it was August 26th, 1968. And I was wearing a purple dress. I was in the second grade. I was, you know, in crazy detail.
Wow.
Like, you're like, what? Okay. How do you remember that? I don't remember what I had for dinner. But my mom was talking to her sisters and they were talking about, oh yeah. And I used to experience, I could come downstairs and there was a old pilot and an Indian sitting in their like porch area, but that didn't have an outside door. It only had an inside door. And they would always like wave to them, to my mom. And her sisters were like, I used to come down and see those people sitting there. Yeah. And they're not in this era or the era they were in. They're like in the 1800s era or before. Okay. And they're just sitting in their house in the onset area. I don't know what to call that area. The porch. Yeah.
And your mom would see them?
Yes.
Wow.
And so, and they like all were having a conversation. We're like, wait a minute, I saw those energies or spirits too. I would see them right there.
Yeah.
And so, that's
pretty cool.
I know.
You guys, that's cool.
It's in the family.
Yeah, it is.
Clearly.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just a matter of how to use it, how to set boundaries, you know, keep God in your life, keep that light, like we said.
Yeah.
And that way you're protected, and there's nothing to fear, really.
Yeah, just embrace it.
The unknown, though, like when you're growing up with what's going on, what's happening, that is scary because you don't know. But now you do know what it is, and you're safe with it.
Do you think that kids are more receptive receptive to it because they're so like aloof and like, you know, enjoying like imagination?
Right. And because I've read this, Wayne Dyer talks about this, because they still were just 2 years, 3 years old. They're still so close to God and the other side that they can see spirit clearly.
Wow.
Yeah. And their brain hasn't been messed up with all the junk in the world. So,
well, I know the junk scared me away. That's why I was scared, because of the scary movies.
Yeah. The movies.
They freaked me out.
And the TV. Yeah.
People on the walls and blah, blah, blah. I was scared. Megan's asking if you have a soul in you right now, you know, and like souls pass, is her soul, or could her soul be carrying trauma from a previous soul?
Yeah, absolutely. A previous soul.
Or previous life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Absolutely. You guys, that is a good question, because that is when you're alive and you have so many issues, a lot of them is from past life.
Really?
Okay. Listen to this story. At 30 years old, I came down with a lung disease and almost died.
At 30 years old?
Yeah, my lungs filled up with water up to my chin. I had to go into surgery. And then years later, I saw in a past life, I drowned and water came up to my chin. I saw the water as I was drowning. And then in this life, I had a lung disease with my lungs filled with water. So, and yes, you know, people that weigh 1,000 pounds, let's say in a past life, they starved to death. You know, or you were hit in the head, shot in the head. So in this life, you have terrible headaches. Or yes, definitely, you carry the trauma with you. And so I think it's important, because if you can heal differently than the traditional medicines and try to maybe figure out your past life, you might get some healing with it.
Wow.
In a different way.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely comes into your new life. Which doesn't seem fair. Yes, I do.
Yeah, you do past life stuff. You really do.
Yeah.
How does that, can you explain that a little bit? Because to me, that one's always been a question mark in my brain of like, I thought the spirit or the energy or the soul moved on and they were just, you know, they're living in these levels somewhere around.
Yeah.
How are they entering into a new being?
They come as a baby.
Oh, so do they decide?
Yeah.
They can say, okay, I think I'm going to go back to Earth.
You come born as a baby, and then you have to do it all over again.
Why would they do that?
A lesson that they need to learn. Again, I don't get it. I don't know why. It's deeper than I can say, but this is what I've heard and experienced in my life. That, we need to come in. My sisters taught me a lot of this, but, you know, a man in a wheelchair. He had to come in and learn a lesson in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
God knows why. I don't know, to maybe evolve.
Maybe. Who knows?
Do you know, Mom?
I know. I'm like, Mom, do you know?
That sounds right to me. That's what I would think.
That's what I would think too.
They come to learn a lesson.
Coming to learn a lesson.
Another one, yeah.
Yeah. I think we're always good and bad that we experience. It's to learn lessons. And people that come into your life, it's to learn some kind of lesson.
People come in your life, it's to learn a lesson. Yeah, I agree. I always think that. I've always thought that.
I know.
You know, my mom, well, actually my great aunt, your aunt, met me when I was like a day old and said, oh my God, you're an old soul. And I've always felt like that. Yeah. I've always felt like I don't really relate to people my age, which is kind of like, I've always had to fake it a little bit, which is kind of weird to say out loud because I don't really like to admit to that. But I've always felt like I just wasn't that age, if that makes sense.
And that, that makes sense. There's a lot of people that are old souls that come here that are ahead of their time.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you've evolved in different areas. That's all.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing. And you can look at it as a beautiful thing versus
exactly.
Scary thing, because it's not scary.
Right.
It's not. I'm just saying. What, Mom? What are your thoughts on Reiki healing? Did I say that right?
Yeah. I mean, healing is healing. Okay. I don't like the name Reiki because it's all energy from God. And your hands heat up. Yeah, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, but it's that, the Bible even says the Holy Spirit will work through you to do my work. That's what Jesus said. I will send the Holy Spirit to work through you to do healing. And so to me, it's just God's energy, whether you call it Reiki or hands-on. But yeah, healing is totally real.
Healing is healing.
Yeah. And it's your hands heat up, and it's definitely a wonderful, warm, fuzzy energy, and it actually can heal you.
Who would be a good candidate for healing?
Anybody and everybody that needs healing.
Yeah. What would I be feeling like I need to be healed with?
Let's say you feel you have old trauma in your body, or let's say you have headaches or stomach aches. Anything really. My sister is an excellent healer. Her hands heat up like ovens, and she helped my lungs when I had a disease. Really? And so healing does work, you guys, but it's very subtle and it's slow. Some of it is instant, and but yeah, there's definitely power in healing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, I want to tap into my guides now, you know?
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do. I'm like, oh my God, I want to like ask them what I'm doing, or maybe they're already telling me, who knows? But I just want, I'm like even more like eyes open to everything again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Reinvigorated with it.
Right.
And I encourage people out there that have felt these things, or, like question if they were crazy, or like question if that was the thing, to just like feel in it and not, not push it away. Cause I pushed away for a long time.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. But I'm okay with it coming back now.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
So when you are okay with it, it should open up even more.
Really?
Yeah. Definitely.
I'm okay with that. I'm ready for it.
Okay.
Anything else that I missed, you guys? Anything that we're like, I didn't ask that, or that's something that we should really bring into the convo? Or is there anything that you didn't say that you're like, oh, I wish I would have said this, or I need to say this?
I can't think of anything. I think we did cover quite a lot.
I know we did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Grandma, if you're listening. Oh, she'd say something. Dang it. Loud and proud, Grandma. Loud and proud. I'm just bugging her. I'm just talking to her. Well, thank you. This has been amazing and so intuitive and interesting to hear. Okay. I have so many questions and so many other people had questions because they're curious. Yeah. They may not be for sure, but they are curious.
Okay. Well,
and that's a sign of looking for more.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
How can people come see you if they were open to finding a new medium?
Yeah.
Or a medium?
Yeah. NikkiBodine.com is my website, and you can find everything on there.
Okay.
My prices, I'm pretty reasonable price.
Yeah.
Medium, parties, psychic abilities, all that stuff. NikkiBodine.com.
Love it. That's where they can find you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. You guys, I hope you like this episode. It's off my beaten path, a little bit of what I usually talk about, but that's exactly why I wanted to talk about it, because that's important for me, to open everybody's eyes to something and be curious and learn more about things. If you need and want advice on anything and you missed this episode, I prefer you give me a call, a voicemail, 612-470-7569. Call me, please, and leave me a voicemail. I've got a lot now I'm really excited about, but I want more, and I want people to keep calling in. Situationship, health advice, confidence, relationships, friendships, whatever it is about life, go ahead and call me and leave me a voicemail. Cool. Thank you again, Nikki. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
Everyone, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think, and I will talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.